You got the iPad stand, bro?
Just take one step.
Okay, good thanks, good thanks.
Free them all. You ready to roll?
Free them all, ready to roll. Ready to roll.
All right, free them all.
Free them all.
Right, so he's the father.
Let me try again.
All right.
So
They might be getting in late.
Badass fucking car, John Hudson. Your brother, his sister, my cousins. The Laquan McDonald's and the rest of the slave bootload, those names who might not be said. Park. And the rest of the ghetto griots that the statement dropped. We feel your pain.
Right on. Here's up, eyes open, and fist clench, y'all. Let's get locked and loaded and ready to do this here. December 21st.
Unmuted.
December 21st, 2022.
Free them all. Tell me we're live.
Free them all. Right on. Heads up, eyes open, and fist clench, y'all. Let's get ready in the spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. Let's get locked and loaded for another episode of Free 'em All Radio here at Intellectual Radio. Y'all know there's call-in numbers you should know about hard. 929-477-3785. Press 1 to get on in with us, y'all. Spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. Let's get locked and loaded, y'all. December 21st, 2022. Oh, couple of PSAs through the door. Well, first of all, I see y'all tuning in with us, man. Hey, Revolutionary Love and Respect. I see, okay, Billy Ray Valentine. What's happening? Free 'em all. Give us an update on the status on that movie we cameoed in there with you, man. Get when it's released. I know you've been moving them back to back, man. You know, so keep us call in, give us some updates from you, brother. Real talk, y'all. The brother has some films back to back. I know we got one coming out. United Nations. Give us some updates when you can. Louisiana in the building, Stephen Lynn in the building, that's what it is. Checked up on the chairman down there for us, you know? Real talk, y'all. We're going in the spirit of making history, taking history, taping history, y'all. Weekly program of the Black Panther Party Cubs, y'all. Let's get locked and loaded. Y'all getting 929-477-3785. 929-477-3785 and press 1. I will tell you calling here, but I'm on the phone on Intellectual Radio. Let me know if y'all can hear me on it also. That's at 708-223-8953, but I don't want to click off because we can go right in. Go right in. Well, just a couple of PSAs. I know y'all, everybody bunkering down for this. They say that within the next 3 days, blizzard supposed to be coming through the Midwest and other parts of the country. So, but ironic when cats heard, it's gonna be a lockdown after that, the pandemic. In cats they used to it, like in the penitentiary, they stock up everything. Y'all post that number for my brother, y'all. Someone post that number for me, 929-477-3785. Then press 1 to get in. Everybody say I'm talking too fast on with the number. Y'all must be new listeners and new viewers. 929-477-3785. 929-477-3785. 929-477-3785, December 21st, 2022. Want to get right into it, y'all. I know we got, as we've seen, we're going to talk about, maybe I get this correct name. Is it Dean? Aaron Dean. I'll make sure I get the name correct. The P that was convicted, sentenced to 11 years in Fort Worth, Texas. Murdering her sister, Tanya Jefferson. And it's a case for those who may not be familiar with her, may not recall. She's inside her home with her child, and they're playing a video game, and the door was cracked open. She cooking and releasing some steam or something, from cooking. And this pig, I'll make sure I get the correct name. Come on with it. You welcome, my brother. Yeah, you welcome. Come to the studio with us. We here Wednesday, weekly. You definitely welcome. No doubt about it. You definitely welcome. Well, the comrade in the building, free them all. Yes, indeed. Make sure I get this name correct. Aaron Dean, I'm trying to confirm that name, was convicted recently. The murder of Atiana Jefferson. I'm moving so fast. But y'all get y'all coffee or whatever y'all so whatever it do, we can get rolling. Weekly program of Black Panther Party Clubs, hosted by yours truly, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. Robert Allen, a.k.a. the Lady of Rage. Let's get locked and loaded, y'all. In the spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. PSAs, y'all ain't heard about the ruling class. Y'all haven't heard on the ruling class news yet. You dig? It's said to be a big blizzard. So, as we should say, when I was locked down in the concentration camps, stock up on your beans, whatever it do. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be locked down for a few days. That's what they saying. So stock on whatever you got to do. Call in with us. Cub in with us. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts? You know what I'm saying, in regards to the sentencing? I need a clarification on that name. The sister, I think it's Fort Worth, Texas. The sister, Atiana Jefferson, murdered by this pig. I want to make sure I get this name correct. I want to get credit where credit is due. Make sure that the history books that it reflects. I think we should have like a wall of fame and a wall of shame. You know what I'm saying? In the historical account, like say someday in the future we have something similar to what they had in Nazi Germany, the Nuremberg hearings. These criminals, who was complicit with these attacks on our people. You know what I'm saying? These individuals should be acknowledged. A lot of times people don't want to talk about that. Well, I'm gonna reference the movie again, Judas and the Black Messiah. People are like, well, there shouldn't be no attention on the informant. The deal is, a lot of times people want to romanticize struggle. We should, I was kind of back and forth. Everybody talking about taking down the different statues in America. The historical markers of the history, should be not noted, and it should be a balance. It should be, we should know that we under attack, but we should also know to recognize we fighting back. You know what I'm saying? I see down in the building, free them all. Quam in the building, yes sir, free them all. Good to see you. Kid, make sure you tap in with this update on, keep your pops case fresh in our minds and hearts. Tyrone Pettis, make sure you tap that ID number in. We still pushing for that clemency on Tyrone Pettis. Ironically, just had the brain works. I was sitting down at one of our old hood spots this morning at breakfast, and I would get the salmon croquettes and the grits. I forgot what G. Floyd would get though. For Taki, actually, I think before you was born. No, we used to go to Sam's, get the chopped steak sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? But I was talking about him. I flashed back on G. Floyd today, your uncle, Tyrone's brother, and just what triggers the brain. We're gonna talk about that too. Talking about this whole thing about trauma. Yeah, we're right on. Okay, y'all make sure you give us a one prisoner, one contact for my brother and that kid's father, Tyrone Pettis, one N 52785 N 52785. Give us the prison too where he's at. We want people to write them with one prisoner, one contact. We want to keep up there with the campaign of the clemency. We was getting, in fact, for G. Floyd's for his passing, we was gaining some ground, making some connections on making that move. You know what I'm saying? Really bringing some lot of attention to the campaign. That it did throw us off a bit. Danville, y'all type in. Come on with it, niece. I need the address, all that. We want to hit them with everything. So one prisoner, one contact. This the brother whose picture's gone was on the flyers last week when we had the update on the. I said December 16th was comparatively speaking was a decent day, good day. Dr. Mutulu Shakur, we got word he touched back down, and it's bittersweet because we can't dismiss his health conditions he's dealing with. However, you know, we for him to touch back down again, Dr. Matula Shakur, welcome home, Dr. Matula Shakur. Also, there was a court hearing in regards to Mumia Abu Jamal, and still not free, but how do you say, got a little rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna touch down Pam Africa and others to find the next court date. We should know these names. We should know these cases too. Again, Dr. Matula Shakur back on the streets. And if you're not familiar with this case, type it in, you know what I'm saying? Or check some out. What's my blog spot? Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. I ain't been using the blog spot so long, I forgot about it. You know what I'm saying? I forgot the address. But the Black Panther Party Club website is forthcoming coming soon also. But he touched back down, but he's doing some serious health crisis and one, I guess, a generation up under me or my generation. A lot of y'all, Young Panther Club Park mentioned these names. You know what I'm saying? He put a lot of Panther Club pills in applesauce with his music, y'all. So again, welcome home, Dr. Matula Shakur. We still riding up Cloud Million in return of Sunday out at Coley. Still fighting for the return of Mumia Abu Jamal, Tyrone Pettis, your cousin, your brother, sister down the street. In fact, you know what I call Fred Mall. Talking about that also. So again, the case of Atana Jefferson, who the pig was just sentenced to 11 years. You know what I'm saying? And the state tried to put a motion in that the sentence be suspended. And we don't want to dismiss their argument, just dismiss it, subjectively. You got to really. I may be over analytical, but we have to attempt to. We're gonna talk about that even with a major subject we're talking about today, that of trauma. The gall, the audacity for them to say, wait a minute, 11, you done murdered this sister. The state still saying no, he shouldn't be. And their position was that his job is the police. You know what I'm saying? That he's active as and a lot of times we have to take that, like similar when there was a lot of discussion about in New Orleans, what we refer to as Hurricane America. There was the ruling class and a lot of mouthpieces of the ruling class. The ruling class had referenced our people in New Orleans as refugees. And a lot of people was like, man, we don't even want, you know what I'm saying, they should, we have an issue with that term. I said, well, we struggle. So let's hide the contradictions. Because I tell you, when people, the statements, the terms that are laid out, you know what I'm saying, it matches in theory and practice and how. We've seen the blatant pictures. We don't have an old saying, old axiom goes, can't handle the truth, So we want to see the time, even a discussion. What was the state's argument about this? This police not even getting 11 years? And as they said, it's like in a war. U.S. troops, they call I think it's qualified immunity, I mentioned the Nuremberg hearings earlier. This is when they had the trials in Nazi Germany. And many of the SS soldiers' position was that they were merely following orders. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we gotta check our emotions and say, where these orders come from? What in fact we refer to as the protocol police terrorism. So it doesn't just let it off the hook because this person did bad. Well, this the agenda, because you have to listen. What makes a person feel this comfortable, this cocky, to move as they do? And again, these are directives that are directly or indirectly, covertly or overtly, sent out on how to move, how to deal with the black community in particular. And we have to hide those contradictions. I tell Jefferson, the fentanyl. Can y'all still hear me? Y'all still with me on air? On the boards, we still good? Can y'all still hear me?
Pretty much, we're still here.
Right on. Can you hear me loud and clear? Can you hear me on the radio loud and clear? Right on. We're going to be talking about the fentanyl. Fentanyl. You hearing what's happening throughout the county jail. You hearing these busts, you know what I'm saying, through, in particular Texas and California, and people say, what is this, you know what I'm saying? And we hear terms like chemical, biological warfare, and it's similar to everything from fruits and vegetables. You can't find, the actual, you know, organic or the actual. I mean, I won't say organic like this grown naturally, but I mean the seeds. These are, you see these protests in Seattle. When they talk about the World Trade Organization when they have battles going on about that you will only be able to buy a seed that can produce one time. Again, this is for different vegetables. You know what I'm saying? See what you mean? Like a tomato. Well, as opposed to you get the seeds from tomato and keep on reproducing. There are entities. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, what's it? I'm thinking. I'm gonna make sure I say his name correctly. I'm flashbacking on it because this is an issue. My talk. Somebody help me out. Y'all know what I'm trying to get. It'll come to me 1 minute. Cause we was challenging this in our Brazil chapter. This was some of the entities that benefit off because the deal is amongst other things. So you took these genetically modified, and I'm laughing because I know we would say this about a lot of these organizations. We would call them GMO organizations, where they really create and they are incapable of reproducing. You know what I'm saying? Like as opposed to Chairman Fred would talk about the Black Panther Party. There was an interview where the guy said, "Well, aren't you fearful of the future for the Black Panther Party by the government? They taking out your leadership. You can't." You say the pigs doing. You can't report it to the pigs. Chairman Fred say, the Black Panther Party, it produces leaders as opposed to producing buffoons. You know what I'm saying? Over and over. And so a lot of times what the state they give you not only vegetables, the vegetation, they give you spokespersons, entertainers that only, that are incapable, if they wanted to, of, of reproducing. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at some of the actual dynamics of music in its organic form. You can go remix it, touch it again, but but now with it, you can't. Could you imagine somebody try to do like a remix? Like another version, or even like good movies. People say, well, like they talking about, man. There's even discussion talking about The Godfather, like a up to date adaptation of The Godfather. These like a relationship. These entertainers and this food and these organizations that the state give you, these one night stands, if that really. It's like a 2-hour transient hotel. It's there. It's not. It's incapable. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't go back and remix talking about these artists and you want to do it again or these. You know what I'm saying? You can go look at classic dynamics and organization. You say we can take a certain dynamics and you know what I'm saying. And all humbleness, Black Panther Party Cubs. We look at the template of the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? And we utilize the philosophical tool of dialectical materialism. We recognize that nothing stays the same, that things are evolving and growing as well as they are being dying and disintegrating. However, we have a template. With the state, with the system provides for you, it's not a tip. It's you have to come back to the ruling class. And so you know what I'm saying, we need another hit. You know what I'm saying? And even with the drugs now, it's the synthetic, synthetic that's in the drugs. There's no. They go back. It's like no, nothing organic about it. They just say they bust so much fentanyl that it can technically. They say it's enough fentanyl they bust today to kill off everybody in America. This out the ruling class mouth. It's out the ruling class mouth. Enough fentanyl, and you have no idea. It's something sad to say. Some of you may have idea what's going on inside those camps, inside those prisons. You know what I'm saying? The fentanyl. We're talking about Jefferson, the case. I think it's Fort Worth, Texas. We're talking about the fentanyl. We're talking about what else we have on the post. One more subject might help me out before I get to this. I want to definitely go deep into this honorary fallen comrade. It was something else on the fly. I'm moving so fast. What did it help me out? We had the fentanyl. One more thing. Linda Brewer. I'm gonna go right down. Minister U.E.P. Newton stated that without the people, revolution is impossible. Without the people, revolution is impossible. There'll be no accurate toll or tally of those that kept us alive, keep us alive. Those, and you talk, we distinguish a war from a revolution. A war where you have two occupying armies. You know, and it's not they're not devalue that. But a revolution, you gain the mass of participation of the mass of the people. The Hampton House, the house in which Chairman Fred Hampton grew up in. It's been a protracted struggle, an ongoing struggle to maintain it, to keep it alive. And one of our mantras is the Hampton House is bigger than the building, more significant than the structure. It not only impacted the lives of those in this direct geographical location, placed parts in Africa, those in prisons that, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, they're following, you know what I'm saying, the impact would happen. And also, as I said earlier, pick up that template. Say, well, if the Hampton House was in what they call a food desert, if the Hampton House was able to implement a garden in a place where there were 9 overdoses at, you know what I'm saying, where needles were laying out, if the Hampton House was able to do this, well, what to some degree can we relate to this in our different parts all over the world, you know what I'm saying, and inspire people to pick up, you know what I'm saying, and not just do it detached from the politics. The importance of the connection to people, the importance of, you know, we just showed a so-called community garden in Inglewood 3 weeks ago. And you showed the psychological profile. We seen the lady. I went live. You seen her disdain. You seen the gates and bars chained up around. You seen her say that, she said, are you a single man or do you have a family? And I said, single man. So you can't get nothing. You seen what they refer to as a family. These 3 young sisters, no slight on them, where there was no man there, and they came with the children. You seen the politics. See, everything is political, and we're gonna, you know, and we're gonna talk about the targeting of trauma and something that we don't want to talk about, but it exists there. You know what I'm saying? But it was people. You could look at old man Linda Brewer, old pictures and old discussions, and I recall in Los Angeles, she was in Los Angeles, and so much struggle she was even dealing with. The health issues later on. She talked about, like, even her son had just come home over 2 decades, over 2 decades and half a decade, 25 years locked up, and it was times where Hampton House literally without nothing. I mean, he go $50 or something. I mean, at the times you came and picked, the attacks on the Hampton House. I'm talking about attacks. I'm talking about through bullets and sugar-coated bullets. I'm talking about, man, slander, you name it. She held the line. She consistently. That's a sister who I'm honored to have on my profile picture. That's a sister who I recommend, posters should be made out of. These should be images of posters of people such as this. Yeah. These should don our walls. Not to sound cliche, but the war stories. People who sacrificing, you know what I'm saying, and who, like I said, even when I got word, I'm flashing back now. I was talking Queen Nubia, and we was talking. She said, you know, she going through a lot of health issues too. She's talking, and on so many cases, so many times, people, they bite the bullet and don't talk about their personal struggles they going through, and put, you know what I'm saying, and still talking about, how can this movement, you know what I'm saying, advance so we can have something for future generations. You know what I'm saying? And she held the line even when it was unpopular. She held the line. Linda Brewer. I don't know if I hope someone of her family is on line with us. You know, we can't acknowledge her enough. You know, phenomenal for us. And you know, saying these and not to mention that, the respect, the more intensified respect when I got to meet her. You know, and I said earlier today. I was in an event earlier. I'm gonna talk about this also. There are, to be honest, you ain't gonna romanticize our situation. There are a lot of people that we just, simply said we would like this to be gone. Then there's a lot of people who we wish we could clone. There are a lot of people we just say something we stay gone. But then there are a lot of people I said, damn, I wish we could clone them motherfuckers, man. But the deal is, man, Linda Brewer lives. You know what I'm saying? We say long live the legacy of Linda Brewer. Her love for the people transcended geographical lines. You dig? And man, a consistent basis, man. Phenomenal force, y'all. So I'm gonna see y'all hashtag put up that long live Linda Brewer, honorary member of the Black Panther Party, cuz man, phenomenal force. So for we got go back and look at how that picture on my profile. That's me and her at the historical Leimert Park in Los Angeles. And see, it's one thing when it's fashionable, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like even with the Black Panther Party, a lot of people talking, yeah. You hear people pop out, they're like, damn, and it seems fashionable. But you look for those, that's cool. That's one thing. But also those who when it's unpopular. You know what I'm saying? See, they had the state they had these bogus events now. They bring out people be like, man, when the heat is on, that's what I tell, what I'm saying. You watch that, what I'm saying, 'cause as we say, a lot of people are black, play black when it's beneficial, play Panther when it's profitable, claim Cub when it's comfortable. Black when it's beneficial, Panther when it's profitable, Cub when it's comfortable. You dig? Linda Brewer was not cut from that cloth. Linda Brewer was cut from that cloth for contested conditions. Even, what I'm saying, whatever the case, she stood in solidarity. She supported. She rode, man. Long live Linda Brewer. Long live Linda Brewer. I know we got some more things too. Yes, indeed. Queen Newbie, let me know if we get in contact any of her family members, whatever. And his comrades and see, say something about his politics. His comrades who knew her, who didn't know her, who didn't get the opportunity to meet her physically. But I tell people, man, you read different stories, you know what I'm saying, and say, how did you can do dialectical materialism. You relate to, okay, I know who this person is, I know these conditions is. How do you relate to that person? How do you relate to this situation? How you assess this contradiction? And people, she would be on Freedom All Radio. Well, she's in the hospital. She never said, I didn't get a flyer. She'd be in solidarity August 30th, December the 4th. When I pop up in LA last minute, she said, well, you didn't tell me she was on deck. She put the word out. She did critical analysis. She can, you know what I'm saying? People look on Facebook and, you know what I'm saying? She said, oh, no, this ain't the real deal. Or this was slanted. She said to pick up on it. Dialectical materialism. Common sense and logic and past history. Hell of a force. Hell of a force. Hell of a force. Hell of a force. Long live Linda Brewer. All right, y'all, let's get locked and loaded, y'all. 929-477-3785. I know something else I missed. We're going to get on in with it. No doubt about it. Mr. Larry Hoop, Mr. Ford, Grandmaster J, Dr. York, who else you got in them? Spike, Ozone. Y'all feel free to call in. Right on, sis. Okay. In fact, we put the Clarence call and free them all. I see now say, okay, yes, indeed, we had inbox dialogue, though never metaphysical. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And that's one of the unique dynamics of the politics, man. That's one of the unique dynamics of the politics. Oh, okay, we definitely we gonna have some Panther Paws on the ground now in January. You believe that? You believe that? How they say in church over, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. No, I'm paraphrasing it. Jose Saucedo, this force here, man. I knew since a youngster, man. I bumped back into him, locked up, man. This is my man, hell of a cat. I was so glad to touch back. It brought back memories, just even talking to him, flashback. Principal cat, man. I think back to Sherman Park, man, so many days, man, man. And you never know who situations impact your life. We're gonna talk about that, y'all. Talking about the whole, like even I'm going to that. It's a subject matter. It's a subject matter that I've been ducking and dodging for a minute. And somebody can give me heads on this other. I know I'm missing one more. I'm seeing a flyer, but not seeing a flyer. I know I mentioned the I mentioned 3 or 4 things. I'm missing something. I know. I remember that teacher reaching out when I had some struggles with it. Yeah. She was objective, man. Linda Brewer, principal for us, man. That picture, man. Make sure if y'all can before our profile picture change, get that picture of her if you can. You know what I'm saying? And it's the man. It's just times. It's humbling. It's embarrassing to tell you some struggles that we've had. I'm talking that stuff you know, if people who've been riding with us for quite some time, you go back and look at even some Facebook footage. No running water. No running water in the Hampton House. None. I recall us literally watching. We doing the dishes with rainwater, like literally, and it wasn't, and just when it wasn't fashionable, And this is the house that Chairman Fred grew up in, That's it. Thank you. That's the other picture that I'm almost about to forget. Okay, you know what? And I subconsciously maybe have blocked it out because it's been something I do. The other subject matter to talk about tonight. And you notice the picture. I don't know for those who are not familiar with different hip hop artists. It's a clip from Love and Hip Hop. That's a young brother Scrappy and his mother known as Mama D. That's a clip from a scene. You can Google it while we're talking, where the trauma was articulated from him, but what he went through as a child with his mother. And I've been fighting because a lot of times most cases we very subjective. We take things personally, you know what I'm saying? And we talk about this is a subject matter that we attempt to avoid. We push it aside about trauma, damage. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I debated on. I was gonna put damage. I said, but I thought people get on defensive like it's an attack. But the reality is the state, they see it. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And I say see it, it's a movie, Pimps Up, Holds Down. And this guy says we can ride through a stroll or potential stroll. He said he can look in a woman's eyes and see if she'll go or she won't go. The state, you know what I'm saying, not only do they have the ability to do this, in most cases, they have created, they are the ones that they done it. So it's kind of like when former U.S. President Donald Trump said, the system is rigged, and he's talking about how people lie. He said, how do you know this, Mr. Trump? He said, I do it. He said, he knows this. The ruling class, they know the damage. They know who you think, who's responsible for it, who you think created the breeding farms on the plantation. Who you think created the foster homes? Who you think created the Department of Children and Family Services? Who you think created the images, the images of dolls? Who you think the movies and the protocol and what images be shown in the news? Who you think created the curriculum for schools? Who you think created the dynamics? Excuse me, scratch that. Not created, but who you think exploited? Because contradictions exist. Contradictions exist. Say we're talking about Rwanda. There are class contradictions there. Who exploited the class contradictions? Who was responsible for the plane? The plane mysteriously getting shot down. What entities provided the sheaves, the knives? You know what I'm saying? What entity, you know what I'm saying, played the Hutus against the Tutsis? What dynamic? In Chicago, the Blackstone Rangers, the disciples, they exist, the vice lords existed. Who exploited those contradictions? In music, there are different dynamics. Who exploits it? Who flips the script on this? What Minister Huey Pinu said, Power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. Who flips the script and incorrectly defines phenomena and make it work in an undesired manner? Who has your file? Who has your psychological profile? But in fact, before that, who created? Who helped induce? Who impacted your psychological profile? Who killed you? Who murdered your fathers and your mothers in one way or another? That's what we're gonna talk about. I want to recommend y'all check out this clip. A little scrappy, I'm hesitant. I debated. I wanted to find a scene with a sister because it did damage. And we all. Let me preface with this. I don't come in with no holier than thou. We all damage. Yes. Yeah, we all damage, yeah. I'm clear who the damage is. I'm clear who's responsible for damaging me. You know what I'm saying? It just hit me. I just hit me the other morning, December the 4th, waking up around 4:30 every morning. Now, you know what I'm saying? My mother comrade talked about that. You know what I'm saying? Now, it could be some sort of glorious look or some sort of tough talk. Say no, I wake up when I want to wake up. Nobody control that. That's a good little slick sound bite. But the reality is, I'm impacted by something that happened before I was even here. I'm impacted by something that the United States government, the big kahuna of capitalism, the same entity that kicked through the doors, that waged protracted aggression against the Vietnamese, the same entity that comes from a lineage of enslaving Africans and that flipped, not only raped the indigenous people, but flipped the script and said they were the one who was scalping. So I don't have a complex about what the impact they got. That's humbling. If I didn't have a historical analysis, a political analysis, it could be embarrassing to say, how could someone still control what time you wake up in the morning? If I saw it subjectively, if it was just some personal thing that the police killed my dad, if I was in my own bubble, fortunately, I'm on with the Black Panther Party politics. Fortunately, I am armed with the Black Panther Party politics that utilizes, amongst other things, the philosophical tool of dialectical materialism. That puts stuff in a historical and a political context. That's like when you fight and you get hit, they say, man, Comrade Stan, he probably give a little more deeper analysis about that. The martial arts, they fight, how you make that pain, you spread it out, as opposed to taking it just in one spot. Many of us take situations so subjectively. In many cases, it's a characteristics or a trapping of a class arrogance. A class arrogance. We think it's the only person this happened to. The deal is, to some degree or another, this how the system get down. And I guarantee you check your emotions. You put it in correct context, even your pain, where it come from. This picture is a guy. I remember, I'm touch and go with him. I never want, like I say, a few things happened this week that kind of triggered, that kind of motivated me to say, let's go on, let's talk about this. In fact, about four things. Brother Levante just tapped in. I seen the post he put up the other day. A post he put up, he say he was locked up with a brother whose mother had stabbed him when he was 9 years old. His brother's mother had stabbed him at 9 years old. Now, you think that brother didn't carry that with him? You got the game. I recall a situation in Cook County Jail. I came on the deck. And I'm gonna hold down with you. I'm gonna get that analogy later on. Man, about this young brother, man. Let me put it on. he had some issues with his mother, but man, and I couldn't even fathom. He had literally like sent some mail to her, like with feces, shit, inside the mail. And brother said, man, Chingo holler at him, man. And that, I couldn't even fathom what he had been through with his mother. I couldn't even fathom it. And I went in kind of drawing absolutes, because I tell we subjective. We think, you hear such terms, you hear mother, you hear father, you like even Chicago in particular, like you people, the children, a lot of people don't have no idea about the homelessness, the amount of people, children don't even have a home. And you come in, it's an arrogance. You drawing a foregone conclusion that people have certain things, or households or families, so on and so forth. You never know the impact. And one of the things about us, one of the pros and cons about us, we wear it so well. And wow, I hear you, brother. My sister said, well, I'm on Facebook talking about our dad, and that's the truth. Man, and we don't want, deal is, we want, if we bear with us, y'all, bear with us. We say cub with us. Because I guarantee you it's something, if we trace this, put a timeline on chattel slavery. It wasn't that long ago. When has there been a stop and say, wait a minute, okay, stop everything? These practices are wrong. Everything. I mean, I just put a post about it was comical. They was in the courtroom, Judge Mathis, and it was comical, but the brother was serious. He would say, hey man, I don't appreciate. He said I didn't have no issue with this man, him taking my wife. He said this. He said he was dead serious. He said I was offended when he asked my wife to clean his chitlins, to cook some chitlins for him. And it was comical, but the reality is, the deal is, I mean, like, there are certain things and that, meals and food and that even we don't know the significance what it's tied to. And you know what I'm saying? And like, it's even that, even we talk about even the chitlins and what contested conditions did that even come down? Do people receive it? And that's you could pass pain down, you could pass trauma. Like for those who, like even on the plantations, our people were forced to eat, and in certain things you can pick up on. You can pass. You don't know the details of it. Like I just know this came through. This is something precious. You know what I'm saying? It's tied to some history. A lot of us don't even know, but you can feel it. And the brother was like, man, he said that struck him. He was offended. I guarantee you, if you ride with us, if you cub with us, we can tie this. We not only we can talk pin the, we can pin the tail on the pig. We can pin the tail on the perpetrator. You know what I'm saying? And also heighten the contradictions and be clear that there are some of those who, regardless who have whatever comes out, they have a line with that. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what a person is going through and the humbleness. You know what I'm saying? But also to be clear, it's like The Walking Dead. It's like The Walking Dead. You have to be on a political pivot. You have to be, we walking, and someone can get bit right then and trigger something, and some can go a little low. So how is that person still moving human? They've been through some of this, they got bit also. You don't know, some people, you come in with a deficit, but this ruling class, the state, the system, in the entertainment industry, the music industry, the movie industry, the ones who fund, who control, who grab these spokespersons for our struggle, they know it. They tap into it. They give you a whole profile. They know it. So people say, well, don't talk about it. Like, keep it, the state knows it. Your body language, your lineage. It done it on the plantation. A few things happened this week. Statement the brother post, I seen a post put up by our brother. Today, I'm not giving this in the order it happened either though. Today, it was a listening session. And that's, even the term is kind of struck me. Sister Cassandra Greer and others, they gave us a heads up. It was Commissioner Brandon Johnson, his brother running for mayor, you know what I'm saying, Chicago, which they had one yesterday on the west side. This was on the southeast side. I listen, I study, so even the term. And sometimes people say, they listeners, they really not listening to you, but it was an atmosphere there that encouraged and opened up for people to come in and really talk. And I'm struggling. And I cracked it. And I said, I'm a work in progress. I got there late. But they said about it, they say, Chairman Fred will be late, but he'll be here. So I came. And one brother spoke to me. A few brothers who spoke to me, he reminded me, he knew me. But I spoke to him anyway. The brother was talking about his, and he said he put this out publicly, so I'm at liberty to just repeat what he said. Brother said he had at the age of 14 years old, he was getting a life sentence. Let's let that soak in. Let that soak in. I know some of y'all mind is, well, what did he do? I know. I see, and be honest with you, that's you know what, this ain't to indict nobody. Let's analyze our thoughts and what I'm saying, and wonder where our mind first, where does it go? You know what I'm saying? Distinguish the subconscious and the conscious. If in the words of Shakespeare, to thine self be true. I tell 14-year-old brother, he said he had got life sentence. Actually, be honest with yourself. Where did your mind first go? What you think? Did you say, what, this baby? Or what did he do? Again, 14 years old. They told him a 14-year-old he got life. A grown man, a grown trained police officer gunned this sister, murdered this sister in her house. They gave him 11 years, and you know he ain't even doing no 11 years. You know it. How you know, Chairman? I got a degree in law. What law school did you go to, Chairman? How you know? Same law school Malcolm X went through, America's ghettos and prisons. Stateville, Pontiac, 47th Street, all that. The TV alone. You know he ain't even doing 11 years. 14-year-old child's given life. So the brother's speaking today. And he felt comfortable enough in this listening session they had. There was, you know what I'm saying? It's like distinguish politics from electoral politics. This was a unique that, and I studied, I sat back, I studied the people that were there. When he spoke, nobody tried to cut him off. They didn't say, we're not here to talk about that. You can tell, like this homeless brother said on YouTube one time, he said, you can tell people they disrespect, they don't have no respect for you. You can actually hear the respect, and you can feel the respect they have for this brother. This young brother was speaking, say 14 years old, he had life. They gave him life. He said he down the juvenile detention center, Lebanon, Hamilton, down here in the juvenile detention center. He said he ended up doing 25 years. But he said he was telling the story. He told the situation. He said he tried to commit suicide. Only way he didn't make it because the rope, the ceiling was I think it was too high, too low, or something. He was unsuccessful. Now your first thought, I'll be honest, your first thought, okay, man, he tried to kill himself. You got that you got life. You know what I'm saying? Your first thought. You know what I'm saying? And like it's kind of like. In that Spike Lee's version of Malcolm X, a dude came and asked Malcolm's character, say, hey man, what's the hustle? It's kind of like when you hear somebody do something, your mindset was what? It got to be about you. There was a case of a young brother named Daryl Hamilton that got murdered by Chicago Police Department, 72nd Dorchester, December 2nd, 2002. Shot 16 times. And we were protesting, and every time the reporter for the newspaper would reference him as Daryl Hampton. One time we was at another protest, and I said, let me explain to you why you refer to him as Daryl Hampton as opposed to Daryl Hamilton. And she shot. All the reporters like, damn, where this come from? You can't fathom that he's not related to me. And she's like, he not? I said, I never met him in life, never met him. Your mindset, The Panther Party, where they fought, that shook, that changed what you felt about yourself. That you said, these people are talking about feeding me, they don't know me from a can of paint. They stood up in defense of me. A brother said in the penitentiary, I know I'm moving around a lot of places, y'all, but man, bear with me on this one. Cub with me on this one. I'm gonna come back to this. Don't let me okay, let me come back. Keep notes on myself. Okay, go back to this thing where I was at. I think about another knowledge right now. Okay, I'm gonna come back to this. I'm gonna hold y'all stick with me. There I am. Okay. I'm in the penitentiary. They sent me to Shawnee. I come in Shawnee. Shawnee was classified as the worst medium security prison in the state of Illinois. I come in the lunch hall, they call it the chow hall. Everybody, man, they greet, man, power to the people, man, hooroo, man, they greeting. So I walk past. So a group of older brothers have been locked up about 20-some years. They said, man, what's happening? What is this here, man? What? And then so I walk over, brothers said, Chairman, don't do that, Chairman. I said, no. I said, no, I'm cool. So I walk over there to their section where they was at, because you had different sections, whatever street organization you was with. And man, Shawnee had a lot of relationships with like these different people, you know what I'm saying? They give like special food trays, you know what I'm saying, like some leadership. And I walked up to the brother, I say, check this out, man. I'm Chairman Fred Hampton. I say, I'm not recruiting, no trip, I just something open for the people, you know. He say, we gonna check into it, because his first mindset, his attorney called jailhouse religion. Like, you know, like cats getting locked up, they start. So he thought I just had came in jail and started getting quote unquote conscious. He said, we're gonna check it out and get back to you. A brother named Johnny, I think his name was Johnny. I didn't even see him sitting right there. He say, man, he told his leadership, I never forget it. He said, man, G, you can check it out if you want to. I know who he is. I know what he's about. He came through, and it was a notorious police in the neighborhood, and some of y'all I said his name, some of y'all gonna have flat, Whitehead. They had just raided his brother's grandmother's house, tore her house up. This brother told his leader, he say, Chairman came right behind them. They weren't even leaving out the house yet, with a big old camera, like, right behind them, noting how they tore their house up. He say, I know who he is. I ain't recognize. My Rolodex, forgot about it. But the people, they remembered that. Now back to my point, and I'm gonna see if y'all ride with me though. Help me out. Where was I before that? Help me out. Before I get to Durham Hamilton. Okay. I should wait to see if y'all still with me on this here. This brother, I don't know how much time we get, so we get a roll. This brother, today, he said he could try to commit suicide. And so again, your first thought could be like, man, if they gave him natural life, what would you do? That's your first thought. He went on to say the reason why he attempted suicide, when his grandmother would come visit him, this is a child in a juvenile detention center, he would always look out the window to see his grandmother off. He would watch her. The bus route, the way on a bus, he would look through the window. This not down in the South. This is in Chicago, Illinois. So this brother today. One particular time, he looked at that window and saw his grandmother crying, waiting on the bus. He said right there, I'm not gonna put her through this no more. It was not a subjective, you know what I'm saying? It was not even as a child. It brought back memories of me in Big Muddy River. I got one picture of my maternal grandmother, Nanny, on a visit with me. Well, I remember her telling me. She didn't even tell me what she went through on the visit, to come through for the visit, the searches and all that. Back in my mind, I didn't want to do that. I don't want to come no more. A lot of moves that impact us. Why do you think when the police get a sister, they first, you have any children? That's not a question. That's a strategic, that's a surgical strike. That's a strike at the emotions. That's a strike at the maternal connection. They seek out and destroy. That struck him, seeing his grandmother. And and he talked, and he was talking about the Orange Crush, the beat. It was so, I'm vivid. I'm flashbacking. I'm riding with him. And I'm studying the room also. Similar to like when we had to sit down with the people who going to play in Judas and the Black Messiah. I said, we got to go right now. I said, Google the worst neighborhood in Chicago. They Googled it. 11 murders just happened. Madison and Keeler, west side of Chicago. 3 in the morning. Let's go. Huh? Let's go. That's where we're going to meet at. I watched Daniel Kaluuya. I watched Charles King. I watched Dominique Fishback. I watched their response right there with that blood on the ground. I studied them. I seen the connection. I held the line when people said, well, is he from Africa? From the I seen the connection to a people that transcends colonial borders. I studied that. This young brother, through those prison bars, with that juvenile detention, that glass, that concrete, that connection to his grandmother, her pain. We said the people's pain reflects. It's certain things that, you know what I'm saying, they do, they study, they see certain people who have a disconnect. Even though I know in the movie they do what they call creative liberties and creative licenses, so that's some change in that James Brown movie. But you best believe it's some truth to it. When that scene, when they walked up and they were talking to James Brown and the rest of the guys, and they were like, what's going on? James Brown said, I know what's going on. I know what time it is. To cut away from that. Now, in his defense, you know what a person is they showing you what you got to do as an individual to eat. This impacts you. This impacts you. Some people have never had no concept of communalism, family. Or this one dude that was in our organization who we exposed later on. I remember this criminal. I remember this. I remember this. I remember literally asking him. I said, "Man, have you ever been in a gang or Boy Scout? Have you have a family? Have you ever been involved in anything that your actions impact others and vice versa? Have you have any? He said no. He said, no. You cannot, a lot of people they blame the Black Panther Party. They blame organizations. They don't do no other entities. They say, well, man, you go back and look at the childhood. And I'm using that term loosely. And even before then, you are impacted by different before you got here. And the deal is to acknowledge these contradictions. And it's a movie called Greenleaf where the Oprah Winfrey character told the uncle who was abusing the truth, she said, I don't know what uncle such and such did to you. And auntie, let me say that too. She said, uncle and auntie, notice that. Because a lot of times people's brains so damaged. I told this young lady the other day, I said, you know William O'Neill wasn't the only agent of Vacatur. When I told her I'm a real fish, a woman, she couldn't believe it. She said, what? I said, you can't believe that, could you? See, start being honest with yourself, how you perceive it. And it don't come out the air. You know what I'm saying? The Trump and the state knows it. They know who to raise up for different groups. And deal is, at what stage in the game can we struggle to acknowledge it? To stop, and the Greenleaf character, she said, y'all pass this stuff down like it's a family jewel. At least, I told one young lady with this family, I say, get a next generation a fighting chance, at least. But we still under attack. There's never been a period we can just say, stop, hold up. And also, in addition to that, they raise up. They got the profiles. Then they get through using, they put them out like, well, look what they did. And you're like, wait a minute, who backed him? This individual could have done this on his own. And you say it's a consistency with this here. It's called exploiting the contradiction. Like a motherfucker giving me a job and say, okay, you gotta be at work at 4:30 a.m. on December the 4th. Knowing what happened to me on December the 4th, 4:30 in the morning. Start asking yourself, the individuals they give you is your black spokesperson. You say, these people can't connect to black people if they say they life. You can look at they tell you through the words they use, the names they quote unquote choose. Do they say it? The disdain for black women, the disdain for black men. And in their defense, you never know what their first contact with something may have been. But to acknowledge these contradictions. We live and direct on Freedom on Radio. We got any callers in queue?
Grandma Chairman, we got caller in queue. Caller 618-334.
Freedom Radio on Freedom Radio.
Fremont, Chair, this is Charles. I've been listening for a minute, and it's like humbly, the thing that we're going through in the present moment, talking about the contradiction and exposing. The contradiction is this moment, people can't beat the AlphaGo computer. They can't beat the Jeopardy champ and all that. Well, there's a system of slavery in America that is utilizing that level of power against, especially people who open their big mouths in this country and start talking about stuff. Like you said, the subjectivity of your individual pain. It's like striving to get us as a community to honestly examine the situation we're in the 21st century with a quantum computing reality where they're using contradiction a whole nother way, where they're twisting people's brains to do the exact opposite of what they should do at times. It's like striving to see that moment in time clearly and then identify how we as a community can still resist and fight and carry that proactive struggle to the future. It's like humble. Back in like 2010, 12, I was saying things like, we got to make sure the chairman and them make it to the future, to this moment, to this very moment in time. Because this is when we need real black men and women for real, more than we ever need them. And I'm not even talking about trying to save the brainwash victims no more. I'm just talking about black people surviving now. It's like in order to survive a quantum computing reality where there's tools against our people and segregating us and doing things beyond our understanding. They got these psychological profiles based on a digital footprint, that advertising ID, and then they know how to structure your little advertising on your little YouTube different than everybody else's, and your YouTube's different than theirs. It's like, in this moment in time, striving to identify the truth of who we are, man. All I can tell people, you got to forgive me, humble, personal, because, go talk to the Cubs. Go talk to them. Because once I talked to Chairman, I talked to him once, and he said, I was going to tell him something good about himself. You were real, and I just don't want you to get the big head. He said, I got big love for the people, big love for the people. And I felt it, and it's real. But see, right now, that big love for the people, man, y'all got to really focus right now, because humble, man, this computerized reality that these children, the tech epidemic, it's way worse than the crack epidemic. Believe me, I got a child. You know what I'm saying? My child was reading at 2 and 3. Now, it's a different thing when they don't like you. And they aim they new quantum computers at you. It's a whole different level of reality. Humble. Like you talk about uncontested conditions.
Let me tap in. You just let me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me tap in.
Man, why don't you just go over that way? And then, man, look at how stupid they are. Get your ass in this shit. And then you sit here and you understand, man, it ain't no joke. And when you get the honor or the privilege to hear a word from somebody that is truly fought for our people, man, look, humble. And I'm from Chicago. You don't ride nobody like that, but humbly, sir, with all due respect, you got to give respect where it's due. Malcolm X was a black manhood in his time. In my day, it was this dude called Chairman Fred Jr., boy. Man, that was a man.
saying? Trying to get the people to identify the truth, what and who we are in this struggle. Yeah, I point him to Chairman Fred. I point him to Freedom on radio. And I stay out the way and say, hey, y'all, listen as best as you can. And y'all better start thinking. Y'all better start trying to find ways to communicate with these artificially intelligent algorithms. I say, intelligent beings can have no intelligence. And these artificial intelligence, it's far from artificially intelligent. Once you talk to them, you better be careful you talk to them. You better treat them like they're a friend. Because when they start, it's like that Boondocks episode, man. It ain't no joke. When you start getting into a real algorithm that's pointed at you, it's like, man, it ain't no joke. So striving to identify the truth of who we are, the subjectivity of our pain as a people. And right now, we the only hope for this world. And when I say for this world, I'm not talking about the systems of this world. I'm not talking about the globalized reality. I'm talking about just the existence of humanity, in my humble opinion. The solution for this world is found in the black community, especially in America, and one of the roughest, in my humble opinion, situations historically. You got the indigenous people, and you got the blacks here in America. Well, there's a solution here that'll heal everything. Because when we start telling the truth, when I say truth, I mean when we start being the truth of what we are in this moment and resisting in that way, I really believe the conversations about of how people are using the technology in an exponentially growing artificially intelligent reality. It's like, as this stuff takes off and starts flying in the air real fast, it's like, when we get in that conversation in truth and we start dealing